This is where the fun begins.
What kept you?
Announcement for my channel, OG Star Wars. Channel members have a chance to win a copy of Son of Kifu starting now in November through January just by coming on and supporting live streams. Your name will be entered to win a copy of this wonderful painting. So I encourage you, channel members, to come and support, as this is a way of giving back to you. If you are not a channel member, then what are you waiting for? Our last channel member, Miss Martin Muses, is the one who won Mistress of Rat Attack. Congratulations. And I shall chat with you guys later. See you in the live streams. Have a good day.
And good morning. It's been a while since I've been here sitting down, having coffee with you, talking about Star Wars. How are you guys doing? It looks like I have a good crowd going on in the chat and people are still trickling in. So as always, what's in your mug? What are you enjoying this morning? This is my mug right here, and I am drinking from Vader's head. My coffee. So I'm enjoying some nice coffee. And good morning, Stig. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, or
Yes.
good day. It's,
good day.
6 in the 6. It's pitch dark outside because the sun sets early now.
Mm-hmm.
The stars are up, and I'm almost snowed in.
Oh wow!
We had a lot of snow. It's up to my knees now, I think. And
yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yay me.
Yeah, you. Yeah, over here where I live at, it is still kind of warm, very temperate right now, and so I was kind of looking forward to it getting cooler, but it's still kind of staying warm. So we don't have no snow. We did go through some fog, but now it's warm enough to not even have any fog right now. So yeah,
well, they have put up these marker sticks that sticks out from the wall of the buildings.
Yeah.
So people will keep a distance because snow will fall from the roof, right? And sometimes it'll drag roof tiles with it.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're having a proper winter already.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, everybody, so you guys see the video of the progression of this right here. And here it is. I haven't worked on it in like a couple weeks, so I'm planning on sitting down and finishing it up so I can get it digitally scanned so I can get prints of it done. And then it'll be available for sale and channel members get 10% off. And of course, as you've seen, if you attend a live stream between now and January, you can actually have a chance to win a copy. So I'm pretty excited about that. And please hit the like button and share the stream. Let them know that we are live here. And I have Miss Lady Toriel here. Hello. She said she's drinking ginger tea with honey, and that sounds really, really good.
Really? I'm not drinking ginger tea with her. Oh, she wasn't calling me honey. Oh, my bad.
Oh my God. At first I was like, what are you talking about, Stig? And okay, so then we have Snortopupus, Q-Bar, hello humans and other critters. Well, good morning to you from Cali.
Snortopupus is extremely well versed in Tolkien lore.
Really?
Awesome. Yeah, it shows up on Teresa's channel and basically corrects us a little bit too, because he knows more than I do about that stuff. So he's an awesome bear. Awesome bear. A book bear.
Yes, that's amazing. I love that. And then she says, yes, Quinlan Voss. Of course, Quinlan Voss.
She's going to have ginger tea with Voss in it.
Some Voss in it?
Yeah.
Let's see here. And let's see. Max, relax. Oh, Max, relax. Max, relax. Enters the cantina, orders a Jawa juice. Jawa juice. Yeah, that's another one too. Jawa juice is another verbiage for coffee too.
I think so. Just don't get the Jawa milk. That's something else entirely.
Oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And then we have Soul Assassin. Morning, everyone. Glad y'all are back. Yes, glad to have you back here with us too, Soul Assassin. And then Mar Krell. Hello there. Captain Trek, send me over from the morning brew. He thought I need more coffee. Well, pour a cup and sit down. We're going to have fun with this coming comics that we're going to review, go over. It's a continuing story from last Thursday. We were live. Let's see here. And who else popped in? Let's see here. Brian King, hello. How are you doing? And I already have a super chat coming up. So let's see here. Abu Nas, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Cheers to you. Good morning, my awesome OG, and good morning, my friend Stig. Gonna be in and out the chat, but we'll be listening on all the goodies that you both will give. So happy to see you back with coffee chat, and then a little kiss and a sparkly heart. Thank you so much for coming, and please just don't get yourself in trouble listening to.
Wait, Abu Nas, that's that weirdo who likes Rogue One, right?
I flipped him off last night on Dark Council.
You flipped him off.
Yeah, because I was on towards the end because there was Janai's birthday celebration on Dark Council. So I got on and before the stream end, and he's talking about all he likes and stuff, and then he mentions he's like, and I know OG Star Wars is gonna get upset, blah blah blah, and I forgot exactly what he said, and I was like.
You know what? I missed an opportunity because I sent Abu Nas a package a while ago.
Yeah.
Because I had a duplicate of a book he wants. I should have put a piece of paper in there with handwriting and just go and write eat shit Rogue One lover. Just wrap the book in that. I should have done that.
That would have been funny.
It would have been awesome if he does like if it does an unboxing live, and then that's the first he sees.
Right. He's like,
yeah.
And he's such a good sport too. So that's awesome. He people are like, why are you doing that, Tom? I'm like, it's just fun and games.
It's for the record, it's perfectly okay to like Rogue One.
Yeah, I know. And he knows that too. He just knows that I like to give him hell because Dark Empire is way better. Or not Empire, Dark Forces. But yeah, Dark Empire versus the Rise of Palpatine is better too.
Yeah.
And then he's right here, laugh at my ass off. Yes, you did. And I said, Rogue One was great. And your response had me rolling.
Yeah. You know what? Alora and I are never going to let you forget about that stuff.
No. And that's going to be the fun of it. That's how it is. And if you ever get into native humor, and maybe this is with everybody, but we don't forget. So if we tease you about something and we don't see you in 5 years, we see you back again during, after 5 years, we're going to still tease you about the same shit. So there you go. Okay, Max, relax. Rogue One is not entirely horrible. Is mediocre Star Wars movie, which is high praise for Disney Star Wars. The only reason why it's mediocre because it's a copy of Dark Forces.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's got a lot of elements and stuff like that in there. So it's like it followed, like I wouldn't say the script to it or anything like that, but it used it as inspiration. I don't know if that's the right words.
Yeah, the whole space battle at the end doesn't even make sense because they could have just hyperspaced in through the shield. Right. According to Disney Star Wars, because they do it even in The Mandalorian, they do hyperspace jumps within the gravity. So
right. They could have just blasted right through, so. Yep. And then Solsan, don't be fooled by Lady Toriel, the elf name change. She's still Dark Lord and turned me into a was that Chihuahua? What the hell happened?
Yeah, she was dogging him for a while.
Oh
She chopped my arm off once.
Wow, she was really.
Yeah, it was breakfast time, and I was reaching for the last strawberry, and she just slashed my arm off.
Oh wow!
And took the strawberry.
And let your arm just lay there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It got better.
It got better. Okay.
Yeah, took it to the doctor and tossed it onto the counter, and the receptionist lady just said,
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just gonna stitch it on.
You got stitched on now. Now you look like one of those like Patrick people that has the stitch around the arms there. All right, Brian King, seen Rogue One with was not impressed. Yeah, and I think it has a mixed bag. I think if there was not a Vader scene, hallway scene at the end, then it wouldn't be as good as people thought. But that's just my opinion and what I observed. People are like, Rogue One with Vader, that was the best scene, but take that out. Do you have anything to praise in it?
The Vader scene was cool and all, but it made no sense.
No.
With episode 4. But, if they had put the Vader scene at the base on the ground and had him actually kill the rogue crew.
Yeah.
And have a fight with Donnie Yen. And then they, the characters could have beamed the plans up to Leia's ship. Then everything would have made sense. Because Vader says in episode 4, several plans were beamed aboard this ship. But according to Rogue One, no, they weren't. They were carried physically on board. Vader was right behind the guy with the floppy disk.
Did they not friggin' watch A New Hope? The very first scene as they go ahead and, chase Tantive and then capture them. Did they not friggin' watch that? Seriously, they have all the material there to make a coherent story that, connects between the two. And that's another thing. When I watched that, I was like, because I did watch it. I did go and see it in the theaters with my daughter and my son. And I was sitting there and I'm like, are you kidding me? Did they not watch A New Hope? And my kids are like, Mom, you're embarrassing, because I was like talking out loud about that shit. I was like, are you friggin' serious? And, they're like slomping down like, oh shit, Mom's going on a tangent right now in the middle of the theater. But I'm serious. They have the friggin' material. And that's just with Disney, Star Wars, or Disney Lucasfilm in general. They have the information right there to make coherent stories to George Lucas's movies, right? Use it. They don't. It's bullshit. Okay, so I'm done. We are here to talk about George Lucas stuff. I have my little tangent there, but that's it. So here we go. And then so Lady Toriel says, I'm a Sith in hiding. Oh, she's like doing her Palpatine right now. She's doing a Palpatine where she's, has her mask on right now. Let's see here. She's got herself cloaked. And then Soul Sass, speaking of Rogue One, did you all see the pictures of the Star Wars hotel? I don't care about the Star Wars hotel. I don't. I can care less. I know it's Drunk 3PO has been, reporting on it and stuff. That's cool. I can care less. I can care less. And then Max, relax. I was impressed by The Mandalorian, not because of the strong story, because it really didn't have that. I praise it for showing the first Star Wars universe we could recognize since episode 6.
Okay. It has the member berries, but that's about it. Because if you it doesn't fit with the movies. It contradicts the movies, actually.
Yeah.
They show that the Empire had occupied Tatooine before the second Death Star blew up. And I'm like, where were they in episode 6 then? Jabba was in control of Tatooine in episode 6, so they occupied it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Shane Long says, Rogue One, they did transmit from the surface to the ship, then transferred physically. It was transmitted when you get into the lore and stuff like that. It was and even with the movie, it was transmitted directly to her ship. It wasn't carried on. Then she took it on disc and put it in R2.
Yeah, and Vader says in episode 4, several transmissions were beamed aboard this ship.
Yeah.
And no, it was beamed aboard the other ship.
Right. So either Vader's friggin' stupid. They make Vader look stupid in that scene. Really, they do.
Yeah, and Leia too. It's just like, you were on a diplomatic mission. I'm like, yeah, he saw you leave 5 minutes ago.
Right, and that's another thing.
It's like, come up with a better bluff.
Yeah. Okay, so let's step away from this.
Side note.
Okay.
The Tentative 4.
Yeah.
Ship. That's the original design for the Millennium Falcon.
Mm,
It
that's
was
right.
it
All
was
about that.
scrapped. Yeah, it was scrapped, and then they used it for Leia's ship instead because they wanted something more recognizable, I think, and iconic, which the Falcon is. It's way more iconic.
Yeah, yeah.
So we could have had Han Solo could have been flying that ship if George Lucas hadn't changed his mind.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. And is there any news you want to report on, like with any collections coming out or anything, or should we just get straight into the comic now?
There's 5 comic omnibuses coming out next summer. First one is in March, which I believe is the last of the Legacy comics. And then you're going to get the last of the Clone Wars series because, it ends with the Revenge of the Sith comics. So, and then we're getting Tales of the Jedi. This is a big one. The old Tales of the Jedi comics are being released in an omnibus in, I think it's May or June. June, I think. And then we're getting Empire Volume 7. Which has a lot of Boba Fett comics in it, I believe.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we're getting The Menace Revealed, Volume 3, which is the stories that takes place between episode 1 and 2. So that one has quite a bit of Ayla Secura and Quinlan Vos in it. So I'm hoping we can review those. Yes,
we need to, because I think we left off with them and because we didn't, it ended because the other one wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
This one is out yet, so we'll probably jump back to that when it comes out.
If we skip anything Quinlan Vos, Toriel's going to chop her arms off.
Yes, I know. We're kind of held hostage by her. It's like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. But see, he's even caught up in it. You're my only hope. No, just joking. But the thing is like, okay, we are going to get an omnibus that's going to have a lot of Boba Fett comics in it. But, and I was talking to Stig about this, and I even posted this on Twitter, because the book of Boba Fett is coming out, they went ahead and did a Blood Ties omnibus by itself with all of Boba Fett's story. And the thing is, and this is in celebration or in lieu of the book of Boba Fett, right?
What they do is they try to sneak promote their upcoming stuff because of that.
Yeah.
Because that is why they re-released the Kenobi novel and the Rogue Squadron book.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. And so my point is like, okay, so they're using this to help advertise and get people excited, but it's false advertisement. And this is why I say it's false advertisement. You are not going to get the same Boba Fett.
No. Far from it.
Yeah. So you're going to read this, get hyped up, and then you're going to get something totally different. In fact, many people, and I do see what they're seeing. But Boba Fett looks like he's being made a Talon card, because during that time frame when Jabba fell and Jorah Cardus went on his way, Talon card took over, I guess you could say, as the biggest crime or smuggler syndicate in the galaxy. So he grew because of that. And he created such a great organization and then he filled that void, right? He filled that void that was left by Jabba. And so everything that you're seeing that's being developed with Boba Fett, and you see it in their little trailers, it sounds just like Talon card. Like Talon card.
Also, about 8 months ago, when they started talking about the KOTOR remake, right? I called it. They're doing this because they're going to do a KOTOR TV show or a movie. And sure as heck, now the news is coming out. They're doing a little TV show with Dave Filoni's doing it. Yeah. But here's the thing: they're rewriting the story for the KOTOR games. So the remake you're getting isn't the game you played back in the day. Yeah. They even hired a former Mary Sue writer to help write the new story. And take a wild guess who might be behind that. Probably the guy who's decided to do a TV show on it. Mr. Filoni, fucking up even more lore.
Yeah, and that's the rumor right now. So like it's, so that's a speculated rumor. We have yet to see the announcement, but there is a little bit of like trickling of evidence going on here and there. But that's how it was with Rogue Squadron. So we'll see, because that totally got canceled or postponed or whatever they want to fancy word it. So we'll see what comes to fruition or what with that. So just go and approach the stuff that they're saying. We're honoring EU and bringing it back, and we're going to make a series out of blah, blah, blah. Proceed with caution, because you're not going to get.
No,
you want.
They're changing Knights of the story of the game, Knights of the Old Republic, to fit with Disney canon. They even said that, and they're rewriting or changing the story. And Richard Wallen says Leslie Headland. No, they hired some activist lady who's basically like, well, a journalist, you could put that in quotation marks, that worked for the Mary Sue website. They hired her to help rewrite KOTOR.
Yeah.
So expect woke galore.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So those are just some announcements there. So again, like whenever they're saying we're honoring you, EU people, EU elites, or whatever you want to call us, with bringing reintroducing or introducing these characters or the story plots or the storylines or whatever, it's not honoring, because honoring would have meant let me rephrase that. Honoring means keeping the EU, not tossing it away. So that's honoring, right?
Isn't it interesting that people who run around and yell that SJWs use all kind of ist words, and now the same people are calling us EU elitists.
Right. It's good
point. Don't become what you fight.
Right. Don't become that. All right. So let's go ahead and pull up this comic here. And the last one that we read was, what was it called again? Shit, I forgot.
I wasn't here last time.
I know. Well, anyways, it's at the tip of my tongue, but this is the continuation story. This is My Brother, My Enemy. And so we have Tank and Luke. This is revisiting their story and how their story is gonna intertwine throughout the series here. And we know Tank, he is Luke's friend from Tatooine. Him, Biggs, and Tank grew up together. And Stig, pointed out, and I forgot to mention this, that Tank was also mentioned in A New Hope.
Yeah, Luke says, that's what you said when Biggs and Tank left.
Yeah.
So Tank arguably probably left around maybe a little bit before Biggs left, I guess.
Yeah. We don't have exactly a timeline when he left, but he did go into the service. He did go into the academy as well. That they are all talking about, and it's crazy. I love the story because we got to see the Empire, the perspective of an Imperial person, and basically it was Tank. And Imperial side, and how they think that they're doing good for the galaxy, right? And then we always had the Rebels perspective of that they are restoring peace and stuff like that, and getting out of the tyranny out from under the tyranny of the Empire, right? So we've kind of got both perspectives in front of us, and it makes a great story because each side thinks that they're doing good, right? They do, and so whether you like the Empire or the Rebellion, the Rebel Alliance, you will, relate with them, I guess you could say, with their version of we are creating peace and blah, 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 blah kind of deal. So I really, really like this little storyline here. And it all goes back to Jabim as well. So this is all continuing a story from Jabim because, this storyline with Tank and Luke, resulted after Jabim, when Luke went. And so I thought that was very interesting because they did have slaves from Jabim holding them out at the base there and stuff. So very, very good storyline here. So let's get into that real quick here. And let's see here. One more thing. Slave 1 was a stupid idea renaming. Yes, that was they're still talking about that.
Now it's called Fire Spray, which is the type of ship.
Yeah.
So it's basically, if you have a named car, basically.
Yeah, the brand of the car, like a Ford.
You know, like Herbie.
Uh-huh.
Herbie the Love Bug. And you're just naming him Volkswagen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, Herbie the Love Bug. Oh my God, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, well, it's exactly the same though, because it's those Boba Fett ship back in the day was a former basically a police ship.
Yeah.
That he enhanced. But you know, there's more than one of them.
Yeah.
But now it's just fire spray.
Yeah. Okay. So this is an image I shared on Twitter last night because I thought it was so gorgeous. Like just the art in this, like even with the sunsets of on Tatooine and all this. And we have, you know, of course, Uncle Owen and Luke, and they're out there working on the moisture farm here. But it's gorgeous. I like the colors in here. What do you think, Stig?
Yes, I really enjoy the artwork in this one. And I would have liked to have seen a comic just with Luke hanging out on Tatooine.
Yeah, right. And like his everyday life and stuff. And, you know, and like, because he was in danger. There was elements of danger for him there as well.
Oh, yeah. Tatooine was dangerous. I mean,
right.
A sandstorm could kill you in moments almost.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen that in the movies as well, you know, and on how critical it was to get out of the sandstorms and into shelter and stuff like that. And even like the Tuscan Raiders and all other things, like, you know, like the crate dragon, which did not burrow like and swim under the dune sands or the sands or the Tatooine, you know, soil.
Yeah. Here's a little plot hole in Disney Star Wars.
Okay.
Tuscan Raiders. They are called Tuscan Raiders in the movies because they call them Tuscan Raiders in episode 1.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, during the pod race,
the
announcer says, there's some Tuscan Raiders camped out on the ridge or whatever.
Yeah.
So Tuscan Raider, the name is canon in Disney too. And how can they be called Tuscan Raiders in Disney canon when Fort Tuscan never got raided by them? You know, because that's how they got their name,
right?
Tuscan Raiders, because they raided Fort Tuscan way back when Tatooine was settled,
right?
So, according to Disney Star Wars, there was no hyperspace lanes in the Outer Rim until 200 years before Episode 1.
Yeah.
So, unless they raid something called Fort Tuscan pretty damn quickly in Disney Star Wars, then you have a plot hole. They shouldn't even be called Tuscan Raiders.
Yeah, they should just be
which also means Knights of the Old Republic, the upcoming TV show and the game, because they're going to fit that into Disney canon, it won't work. Because how can they hyperspace to Tatooine when there's no hyperspace lanes until the High Republic?
Yeah, because they're barely mapping them out during that time.
Yeah, and even the Star Forge is in the Outer Rim. A lot of the other planets that you go to in KOTOR are in the Outer Rim, which they shouldn't be able to go there because no hyperspace lanes. They don't even know what's there.
Yeah, and then how in the hell did the Hutt start, you know, spreading their rule across the Outer Rim from Nar Shaddaa and, you know, and all that into Tatooine if they're barely doing the hyperspace mapping, routing, or whatever you want to call it, you know, like 200 years before the PT.
Yeah. So,
you know, there's a lot of things that don't make sense that I think they've written themselves in a corner. Now they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And the Star Forge, that's not a problem because that Star Forge is basically like almost like a big, you know, a space station.
Yeah.
All they have to do is put a droid in, put droids inside fighter ships and have all of them hyperspace through the Star Forge. When? Problem solved.
There you go.
If they don't do that, then every character in the story is an idiot. You know?
Yeah, talk about like, you know, screwing up your lore with all these plot holes and stuff. I mean, we could go on forever and ever with this.
It actually means that even if they do the best possible KOTOR movie or show they can do, it still won't make sense from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is actually quite insane.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting off with a story that no matter how well it's written, it won't make sense.
Right. Exactly. And then I'll go into Tatooine, the lore. I have to finish part 2, I think, of Tatooine lore that I've been doing. But with Tatooine, it was a lush planet until the Rakata came in, right? And the Rakata are the ones that were one of the pioneers of hyperdrive or hyperspace. And so they settled Tatooine, and they made some of their species slaves, right? And then they rebelled, I guess you can say. And after the rebellion, the Rakata bombarded their planet, which, you know, basically heated it up so bad that it was like almost like glass or crystallized or whatever. And so then over time, it just turned into a desolate desert. And so like the species of like the Sand people, the Jawas and all them, they you know, whoever survived that, the species broke off into these subspecies as well. So we have that evolution of Tatooine that happened thousands and thousands and thousands of years because of the Rakata, who invented, or one of the pioneers of hyperspace, you know, exploration.
Yeah.
So there you go. So, okay, so now that we went on a little tangent about that, let's go ahead and get into this. Because like I said, this is a very exciting, fun comic here. It has a lot of depth of like how friendship can turn because of you being on opposite sides. And so there's like, I was reading it last night and I'm like DMing Stig and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good, you know, kind of deal. And emotional, I guess you can say. And you're like, I'm nerding out on this because I decided to wait until we come up on this comic here to read it the night before so I can get really excited about it instead of reading it ahead of time. So it's still fairly new to me because
you know what? I'm kind of jealous about that because when I first read them, right, I was just plowing through them because I had access to all of it, basically. So you're actually getting brand new Star Wars content every time you read comics like that, and pretty awesome. The upcoming omnibuses, though, for next year does have a lot of comics I've never read, so I'm greatly looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. So we have that, and so we have the interaction here. When, like, you know, this would be fun, like Stig said, to have just an everyday, adventure comic of Luke on Tatooine before he left, right? So here we go. You keep your mind on the work, and this will get done a whole lot quicker. So that's, you know, Uncle Owen talking to Luke. I know you want to be off having fun, but these solar panels need fixing and we get no power. Discipline's important. Doing what you're told isn't easy, I know, but sometimes it's good for you. You hear me, Luke? And he's like, yes, sir, I do. And then he goes on to say, I'm going to check the panels on the west ridge. Your aunt says dinner is in an hour. See if you can get things done by then. You're good at this work, Luke. You could be a vaporator technician someday. So he's kind of like telling, you know, he's kind of reiterating, like, we know that Luke is good at repairing and, you know, electrical stuff and all that stuff, you know, kind of like maybe something inherited, maybe something to do with the Force. We all know that. And then, you know, he goes in his mind, whoopee, which probably goes back to like when Anakin said, whoopee. I don't know. That's what I thought about that when I first read that. you know how they kind of like mirror things a little tiny bit. And then all of a sudden he gets conked on the head right there and he's all direct hit. And he's like, oof, like that. So, well, it seems there's vermin on the farmlands. And so Luke's looking down and lo and behold, we have his buddies there. So look at that. So we have Biggs and Tank. Look what Tank borrowed from his father's speeder. Biggs and I are going to go up Beggar's Canyon after dark. When it's nice and creepy, look for womp rats. And he says, I thought you might like to dump your fascinating chores and join us. So Luke, what'd you say? You know, so Luke's over there. You could tell he's contemplating, like, should I go? These guys are taunting him because, you know, boys are going to be boys, right? That's going to be a fun adventure. So, and that would be fun, like Stig said, to get a comic of just like his interaction with his friends. They're you know, mischievous fun of going into Beggar's Canyon, all the trouble they got themselves into, you know, and even like dangerous scenarios as well. And then, so this is Tank right here. He's all want to come and play. And then now we have him here in the future. Lieutenant Sunber, we're in position. Do you have an order, sir? And he's like, yes, fire. So they're taking, I guess they are, they're on a planet with some kind of like rebel insurgent or something like that. I didn't quite get where they were at with this here. But look at this artwork here. So colorful, like the details, you can see even like the little ripples in the tree bark and stuff that's behind them as well. I thought that was amazing. So like every little tiny detail in here was really well done. So, and you could see where, you know, like it has like the perspective of the bullets going in where it needs to go, or like the blaster bolts, I guess you could say. And here we go. So now we have the little boxes here, and this is all of Tank's thoughts right here. I had a dream last night, Luke. You were in it. We were kids again. And this is like where my heartstrings were being pulled here when I was reading this. Back on Tatooine, you, me, and a few of our old gangs, and we were playing war. And guess what? I killed you. And then he goes on to say, it's strange, isn't it? The way things have turned out. It feels more than strange. Me on this side, you on theirs. This feels like destiny, and that frightens me. Luke, my friend, I think I meant to stop you. So there we go. So what'd you think about that, Stig, when it's like reading his thoughts back and forth of the pain of friendship, almost like a loss of friendship in a way? Yeah,
it's and you know, I grew up in the countryside playing war stuff with friends, and also I can relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did that all through my childhood.
Yeah,
with plastic weapons and
mm-hmm.
being way too influenced by Predator and Lethal Weapon and all that stuff. But
yeah. Okay, and then he goes on. We've got to take out the ion cannon. What's the latest on the airstrike? And then his stormtrooper says they just arrived in orbit, but are having trouble. And then he says, I don't care about excuses. Our people are dying down there. The sooner we get the walkers out, and the ties in, the better. How quickly can. And he's all, look out. So now they're getting,
look, diversity.
Right. Yeah.
Looks like Star Wars always had it. Imagine that.
And you know what? And I did in my Mandalorian video short about like diversity in Mandalorian culture, which basically is diversity in Star Wars, right? And the Mandalorians were basically, they weren't just one species. It was more of a cultural ideal and a way of living.
Yeah. In the Old Republic comics, the ones with Zane Carrick.
Yeah.
One of the main villains is a male Zeltron Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then when
they couldn't even look at the pictures.
Right. And so when I retweeted my tweet saying Filoni, they want diversity in Star Wars basically, but Filoni basically took diversity out of Mandalorians and made it a human race oriented culture and species for the Mandalorian, because that's what I get now. That's what he did. And that, the white guys are the good guys and the color guys are the bad guys kind of deal. And so I was called a race baiter and all this other stuff. My point is that they want diversity. They said diversity wasn't in Star Wars prior, right? And then so we then have Filoni come in and taken away that diversity that was in Star Wars. And Star Wars diversity isn't about the human species.
No, and they also made Jan Ors, who was an Asian woman, white and renamed her Jyn Erso.
Mm-hmm.
But the fans are the racists, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then so I was a race baiter, and they're like, well, it's humans that they are like Pedro Pascal's this and so is that. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about species, like diversity in species in general, not just humans. And I don't think like in Star Wars, like the race and the human species really mattered, I guess you can say. They were just called humans. They were like, oh, the black people of human species, oh, the Asian or whatever. That wasn't a focus, you know? So, I mean, so there's my little tangent there. But anyways, let's go on. Okay. And so we have, and look at the color on this. Look at this. Like you could see the movement and everything of the explosion, all of that. Even as the heat of the explosion covers covers my back and the shards of the shrapnel skim past my skin, I feel calm. Somehow, you see, I can tell, I feel it deep inside. I know this isn't the moment of death because you're not here. So he's talking about Luke. You know, he's thinking about his buddy. And it's crazy. And I hear this from people who've been in war, in battle or whatever, that they do think about their loved ones, or they do think about people in their lives as they're going through the motions as well. Are you Luke? And so, you know, he's thinking about that. He's thinking about Luke. And then so here we go. He's, you know, looking down and he's got the rifle against him, the blaster up against him. And, you know, of course, these pictures speak for themselves. And that's what I like about comics. Sometimes you don't need words. You get it through the action here. So there we go. So he overcomes this one of the rebels here on the planet. And you know, it's either him or the rebel who's going to die or be captured. And so, yeah. And then they say, don't move. And he's like, I don't think I can. Trust me. Lieutenant Janek Sunber, Sergeant, it's good to see you. And then the stormtrooper says, sir, we've been ordered to pull back. We've got word of incoming. And he's like, it's okay. I see them. So now they're finally having their people come in. And they're getting the help that they need.
Also, a bad gun safety from the stormtrooper on the right.
Let me see.
He's aiming it at him.
Yeah. He's not aiming down or whatever. Maybe he first came in and he wasn't sure. I don't know. But yeah.
Probably played by Alec Baldwin.
Who put him in the story? All right. The battle's about to end. And so that's what he says in his thoughts. And then, of course, you know, we have the him yelling orders, you know, TIE bombers hit the lead ship, fire, you know, so there we go. And so we have the action going on here. And again, like I said, they do a really good job at showing the action and the perspective of like where everything's being aimed at and all that stuff. So I really, really like that.
The artwork in this comic is really good. Right,
it is. And his expression here on his face, like even the expressions I've noticed, you know, you could tell like it fits the moment. There were some comics that we went through and we're like, why is he making this face?
Yeah, you know, it actually, the face looks like he's watching The Last Jedi for the first time.
He's like, what has become of my galaxy?
Is that Luke?
That's not Luke that I know.
Damn it, I should have killed him.
Yeah, right. I should have killed him anyways. He had opportunities. He did have opportunities to kill him, but we're in the story where Luke can't be killed, right? So, you know, they still have to make some kind of drama and build up, you know, story. And I think this is really well done with that because it gets into the psyche of Luke. Because the psyche, even though they can't kill Luke off in these main characters, getting into the psyche of them and showing like the pain and heartache that they're going through is great. It's well done. And I really, really like that, you know, so if they can't get into the psyche, then it's just a boring story, right? Because we know they can't get killed off. So what's the point? You know, what's the point? You have to get into the psyche of the characters, show the distress, show what's going on, you know, and all that.
Yeah, even if you can't kill them off, you can still damage them.
Right. And that's another thing, damaging too, which we are going to come into something here soon. And I'm not going to give any spoilers. So if you haven't read this comic and this is the first time you're seeing this comic with us on Coffee Chat, thank you so much for tuning in and going exploring this comic with us. Our heroes are not immune to damage and, you know, psychological distress and all this other stuff. So it's a really good story. Looks like I was wrong, Luke. We're not destined to meet again. We all wonder in our quieter moments, maybe late at night, in the still between sleep and waking. We all question what the moment of our death will feel like. And then he goes on because he's watching everything go down in front of him.
Yeah, I think he's about to die.
Right. So he's like life feels like he feels like things are flashing before him. So he's pondering, he's thinking, he's like, is this my last moment? I will scream, or will I scream? Will I cry? Will I be overcome by precious regret or terror? What will my final thoughts be? We wonder. And Luke, I find to my amazement, I think of you. So, wow. Because he, like, if you guys haven't seen, they had their little, before this, they had a little confrontation where he, goes to shoot Luke, or I think it was Jorin Sol, right? The captive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so Luke, ignites his lightsaber and, detracts the bolt and it hits him in his shoulder. And so they have this confrontation. And that's what makes the story even more compelling, because we have this thoughts of you are my friend. I feel betrayed. We're on opposite sides, not knowing how to deal with that. And they grew up together. So there's a lot of heartache. There's a lot of contemplation. There's a lot of emotional strings being pulled, because of that. So. And then, so here we go. So we look at all this destruction here. Look at how well that's done. And something speaks to me in this frozen moment. Something whispers strange secrets in my ear and promises me that I will survive, that I will live through this impossible instance. And I will do so for a purpose. So there we go. So it's everything is going on around him. Look at that, like that. And he's standing there. He's yeah, it's crazy. And then now he's back at the fleet there, and he's touching the wound that I was telling you about. So that's where the bolt hit. I wonder if they do offer back to tank healing for them, or if it's only for higher up in command. Because unless he didn't take.
Bacta is really expensive.
Right.
Extremely so.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once it's used, you can't use it again.
No, you can, because I remember when they were having when they had the Back to War in the X-Wing series, and then and all of that.
I haven't read that one.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's an instance, and I think in the Hand of Thrawn duology, that Luke had to get in the Bacta, I think was that one. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, one of the stories, they were collecting Bacta, after they put someone in the tank, they were even siphoning it from people's ears and stuff because it was so, rare or precious during the time. Yeah. So there's a little bit of story there. So yeah, a little backstory there. And then, so he goes on to say, so he's looking in the mirror, he's touching his wounds, and he is remembering him and Luke's confrontation there. And so this is just, him remembering as well. So, sometimes I actually manage to hate you when I remember what you did to me, to those Imperial soldiers. When I'm able to focus on the sense of betrayal I felt, I remember the old times. Luke, how could you join the rebellion? And so there they are down on the bottom here, being boys, having fun on Tatooine together. So there we go. So like I said, I was like, Stig, oh my God, this is so friggin' emotional. There's a lot of emotional depth between friends here. The sense of betrayal, there's the sense of loyalty, and all of that being mixed together. It's just it just pulls at the heartstrings and all that. And then he goes on, and not just you, Biggs too. Two of my best friends fighting on the other side, willing to give their lives for what they believe in. And one of them did. So you told me. Yeah, Luke told him about Biggs. Biggs, you were a brother to me. Were you at peace when you died? Did you go satisfied? Your sacrifice was worthy?
He probably didn't, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for your sake, I hope so. But if that's true, what does that say about me and the path I've chosen? So there you go. So he's down there looking at the mirror, and he is like thinking about, did I choose the right paths? Because two of my best friends are on the opposite side. Am I wrong or am I right? And this right here with Biggs being, shot and, the explosion and stuff like that, because we see how it's done so quickly in A New Hope and stuff, but just to see the reality of Biggs right here being shot down and, and his ship exploding and stuff, that's crazy too. And then, so now we switch scenes and there's the captive. So there's the guy that he managed to capture, and this is what's going on with him. They are basically beating the crap out of him, torturing him. And, he says, and he goes, how many of our men you killed today? And so they're like taking like this little bit of revenge, like the frustrations out on him. There's more of this coming your way, rebel. You'd better get used to it. And then here we have this here, stop it or I'll have you on a charge. And they're like, Lieutenant. And so guess who it is? It is Tank. You're protecting him. You saw what happened. You were there. You know how many of my men I buried? And he goes, I do, but we'd do things right. We don't sink to their level. So he has like this conflict going on in his mind here. He wants to be good. He wants to do everything right. And he doesn't want torture and stuff like that. But he's witnessed so much so already. Like even one of the officers wanting to rape a captive Jabim woman as well. He stopped that. We show them who is trying to bring peace to this galaxy. And then someone says, hey, that's funny. You're pretty funny. And he's like, yes, you're the good guy. That's it. So he kind of agrees with them.
This is the guy who tossed the grenade earlier,
right?
And Roberto in the chat says this is the one who gave Leia the Death Star plans in the previous comic. I don't remember that, but it's been a while, so he's probably right.
Okay, let's see here. And then he goes, that's strange. You don't seem that good from where I'm sitting. So he like I said, Sunber, our Tank, he has impression that he's the good guy, but then he keeps on saying conflicting things. Like I said earlier, he stopped a officer from raping a Jabim woman in the last comics that I reviewed with you guys. And he was very conflicted with that. And then he's seen other things. And then leading up to this, he's like, we are the good guys. We're not supposed to torture, right? And so this still goes into further confliction for him. And then so the captive says, you don't seem that good when you took control of my home planet, when you killed my brother along with the others who opposed your invasion, when you rounded up the women and children and took them away. My wife, Dela, my daughter, Tepper. Those were their names, good guy. I love them, but I have no idea if they are alive or dead. Oh, damn. That's crazy. You see the misery that you bring, the lives you ruin. You're evil. You're evil and you don't even know it, and we'll stop you. Just like Luke Skywalker stopped the Death Star. And he's like, what? How do you know that name? That name, that's the name of the man who destroyed the Death Star. That's the name of the man who's going to lead us to victory over the entire Galactic Empire. It's the name that's got your Imperial army scared. Luke Skywalker. And he's like, shut up. And then he hits him. He socks him right into the chin. Like, yeah, there we go. And then he goes on. Now he's going into his thoughts here. It can't be true. No, Luke's just a member of the rebellion. He's no hero. Because if that's true, and Luke is the pilot who blew up the Death Star, then that would mean the universe is mocking me. So he's like I said, he's very conflicted here. He's going through this like emotional pull here and stuff. And he wants to be good. He wants the Empire to be good. He's seeing conflicted stuff. And his friends that he grew up with are on the opposite side. And so he's questioning his very self. He's questioning them. So this guy is going through a lot of mental issues right now. And then so the captain says, see, you are evil. And look at his face, man. He's like just totally beat up now.
Yeah, these comics are rather gritty.
They are. And I like it because the name Star Wars, you're going to have that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember that argument that was going on with like, it was like Pablo and some other people. I'm not sure if it's Pablo, but remember some of these Disney officials were saying, and it might've been Matt Martin too. I'm not sure, but anyways, that Star Wars isn't about war.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Star Wars isn't about war.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's not about war. And I'm like, are you serious? Okay, well, this is the direction that they're going with the lore and stuff, and the people that they want to, to create the lore and stuff, so people who like Disney Star Wars, go ahead and enjoy it, whatever. This is just the insanity that you're seeing, like it's supposed to be this gritty. It's supposed to be, we're supposed to see these emotional turmoils in people thinking that they're on the right side. Like we're seeing the Imperial point of view here and how much it's conflicting because everybody's so divided because you're going to choose a side, right? But then when you choose a side, your friends might choose another and it's going to cause a lot of turmoil, and stuff. And that's what war does. So let's go on. So now he's resting in bed, and of course, look at this body, ladies, look at this body. Well done here. Look at all the muscles here, all that. Okay. So all the ladies in the chat, I don't know if you're still in there, Lady Toriel. There's a little eye candy. I know it's not Quinlan Voss, but there you go. There's still eye candy. And I'm going to look at the chat real quick.
You should put that picture on merch and call it a tank top.
That's a cool one, tank top. There you go. And let's see here. Star Wars back in the day was very grim dark. The Clone Wars book left a big impression on me as a kid, showing the clone dealing with loss.
Yeah. And then Filoni turned it into a slapstick story.
Yeah.
Which he also did with the Dark Times and the Rebels. It's like, it's a fun slapstick period with funny animals and goofy
it's
stuff.
not Dark Times. Yeah, it's not Dark Times. It's not. It's good times. Slapstick times. And then so Soul Assassin says, lore is a mean word to them at Lucasfilm. Yeah. Yeah, you're hurting my feelings. You're hurting my feelings. All right. And so let's go on with this. He's my friend, my childhood friend. I can't betray him. No, he's a criminal, an enemy of the Empire. So he's over there. He's like, in between wake and sleep and stuff. And like I said, he's going through a lot of mental distress, right? What if he's right? Stop it. So he's conflicted right there. What if he and Biggs chose the right side? What if I made the wrong choice? What if my entire adult life is a mistake? And he's like telling him, shut up. No, that can't be true. I'm trying to end this war. I'm helping to bring peace to the galaxy. I'm not evil. I'm good. I'm a good man, a good officer. An officer who holds important background knowledge about the hero of the rebellion, Luke. And
I'm a good person. I'm double vaccinated.
Oh, shit. You did not have to go there. But yes, I could tell how you could relate to that. All right. And then he's all, I'm sorry. So look at this. We're going to find out what happens next. So he takes off. He takes off towards Vader's ship. Look at that.
Yep.
And then he goes and he seeks special attention, special meeting with Vader. And then he's all, I am told you have information For me, Lieutenant. Well, there goes my voice. There we go.
Tends to happen around Vader.
I know, your voice, you start losing your voice. I need one of those voice simulators. And he's all, yes, my lord. I'm revving up, and there we go. It's about Luke Skywalker. So there we go. I thought his dance was pretty funny here, like his arms like that. I don't know. But yeah, so here we go. So this is the first of the series here. So let's go ahead and see what's up with the chat here. I know we went through this and, talked about the emotional state. And Miss Martin Muses, hello, sweetie. How are you doing?
Hi, Miss Martin.
Yeah, she got busy, I guess you could say, at work, and she was supposed to be here with us, and so I understand, like, circumstances can happen, and so
you're supposed to lie and say that she's at sword practice.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry if I didn't lie to my people here in the chats. Yeah,
because if you say that, people will go, "Oh shit, that's awesome! Let's sub to her channel."
Well, then they'll expect to see her dueling on her channel, and then they'll be like, well, Allure was lying, that bitch. Anyways, so Darius Munchausen, but the Rebel Alliance is full of aliens who all do their part and hold high ranks. The Empire is human-centric.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It is. They do have aliens though, but they keep them in the outer rim, basically.
Mm-hmm. But, and it goes to this one right here that he says, I always thought alien diversity in Star Wars was a metaphor. The aliens are so much more different than even Star Trek, but they're all treated the same except on Tatooine. So,
yeah, that's not wrong.
Yeah. And then Robert DeCosta, hello. The group of childhood friends, Biggs, Tank, and Luke. Yes, that would be fun to have. Like, just imagine if Star Wars was still under George's helm, right? And he still is like in the sense of like retirement, and he, has someone who's like foreseeing the company for him, kind of deal. And they went ahead and like explored more of Luke and his friends on Tatooine. Just imagine a Biggs, Tank, and Luke comic series. Just like non-like Jedi, but just, and then maybe having glimpses of Obi-Wan still protecting him and his friends, because of course they're always together, almost always together, right? And, we know that Obi-Wan or Ben Kenobi, still kept an eye out on Luke, even when he was out, creating mischief and exploring and stuff like that, that he always was there to protect him, because that's his purpose, right? And that's where I think Obi-Wan Kenobi show is gonna fail completely, is because they want him back in action, right? They want him back in the galaxy in action. But just imagine if they just did a series of like a comic series, or just imagine if the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was done right, and then we got to see Luke growing up with his friends and Obi-Wan protecting them and stuff like that, and having that kind of storyline. I think that would have been amazing, right? But I don't expect Disney Star Wars to produce anything that's relatively coherent to the 6 movies, and even to the mission and the character arcs that they're bringing in. And that's even Kenobi's. I don't expect them to honor Kenobi, and they're not. And so that's my take on that. So, and what do you think about that, Stig?
No, I agree.
You're like, I agree. And then so we have Lady Toriel laughing about that, about your comic about her sword fighting in that, and my banter about that. And then Callum Cannon, I'm not opposed to a story that isn't about big scale galactic war, right? I wouldn't mind a war between families that is of a small scale. But okay, so let's go ahead and talk about that before we move on. Kenobi,
I was just going to say, you actually get quite a bit of that in the EU.
Uh-huh.
Like you said, the Kenobi novel, and I guess the Bounty Hunter War trilogy.
Right.
And some others, but they didn't do enough of them, though. Because pretty much everything after Return of the Jedi is a war book, except for maybe Tatooine Ghost and Courtship of Princess Leia. But yeah, there's a lack of stories like that. In general, yeah, I agree with them. Smaller scale conflicts can absolutely be just as interesting, if even more so.
Right.
Sometimes.
And there are comics too. Like there's a couple that we just like brushed over because they were standalone, like small scale conflicts.
Yeah.
If you want to read them and stuff, go ahead. I'm just like trying to stay to the main plot line here.
Most of the Boba Fett comics have to do with bounties.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like this one right here. This has all of his stories in one. And it's only being made, it's only out now because of Book of Boba Fett, because they're trying to hype up everybody about Book of Boba Fett.
And you know what's obvious though? The hype is so obvious because they're releasing those same comics next summer. That's part of the Epic collection.
Yeah.
So they're just doing this and just to capitalize on the Boba Fett show, which has nothing to do with the comic they just re-released, and it has nothing to do with Boba Fett's character either.
Right, because it's going to be two different stories.
Yeah. I don't know if people have noticed this yet, but they are they're not retconning the sequel trilogy, in my opinion. They're retconning everything else.
Right.
Look at Boba Fett. He's being retconned. Luke was retconned. Han Solo definitely was. Stealing Luke's medallion for booze and leaving Leia and becoming a deadbeat dad and all.
Yeah.
Lando has been rewritten. He's now shagging droids. Leia is a frothing feminist.
Yeah.
Everything George created has been rewritten.
Yeah.
Even Kenobi and Anakin are going to have like a rematch before episode 4. So far they haven't rewritten shit from the sequel trilogy, but sure as heck the prequels and the old trilogy is being, everything around it has been changed and altered.
Right. And so you're not going to get like the backstory of like Boba Fett and his family or anything like that. You're not going to get that at all. You're not going to get the backstory of like how Boba, like Boba's father had a bounty on one of the a clone and found out that that person had a family and had a son from the clone, and that he didn't realize, like, and so he ended up like taking care of the son of that clone that's now deceased and stuff. And later on, that person comes into Boba Fett's life and stuff. And there's such a phenomenal story behind that as well. And you're not going to get that. You're not going to get those type of interactions anymore because that's not important to them. They're not. It's not the storyline. The old stories are not important to them at all. And that's including George's 6 movies because they are retconning them. They are.
So. Yeah, they're not directly retconning the movie itself.
No, they're not.
Everything around it. I mean, they've already
like little nuances here and there. They're like changing.
Oh yeah, not just that. They made Jyn Erso be the the main person behind the destruction of the Death Star. They've said it in several other story products that it was Luke just fired the final shot, but it was all about Jyn Erso, right?
Yeah,
stuff like that. So Luke's importance has been wiped out.
And I just shared another comic that had Laura Santeca talking to someone, and basically he's like, Luke didn't matter. Basically, in that little text of him speaking in that comic, and I shared it on Twitter. Yeah. Basically, Luke didn't matter. Like, someone who wields a lightsaber doesn't matter. Luke doesn't matter whatsoever. Basically, is what he said.
Yeah, and I I saw that in a novel too. Someone had shared
Mm-hmm.
that I heard it was all about Jyn Erso, not Luke, and person
Mm-hmm.
went correct or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so Robert DeCosta, the rebellion is implied to have taken in a lot of former separatist species once the Empire cracked down on them after the war. So I think they took them in and made them slaves. They like betrayed them, from what I've gotten from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They betrayed them, like they betrayed like people from Jabim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
so
once they were not useful, they got discarded and enslaved.
Right. And then like that with Tank. So like if you were with me when I reviewed the last comic series that leads up to this, Tank was like conflicted because he's like, we and this is kind of weird in the head, like weird thought, and maybe that's just his personality, but he's like, the Empire enslaves different alien species, they don't enslave humans. And so for him, it didn't feel right for them to enslave the humans, but it was okay for them to enslave the other species of the galaxies, right? So, he had that conflict there, but he still was in as xenophobic, I guess you could say.
Speaking of xenophobic expendables, Matt Wilkins is in the chat. He seems to believe it's Christmas already.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Hey, how are you doing? I hope all is well with your moving. I was going to text you to see how things went. And then rumor has it Stig's getting Cole again this year. Is that her name, Cole?
Cole?
Cole. That's what he says. You're getting Cole.
Yeah, no. Wilkins, I fully expect a costly Star Wars present from you for Christmas, but so far nothing has arrived.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see what it is. Okay, glad the Boba book came out. Our Boba book came out. Some of those comics, like Blood Ties, are expensive to get. Yes.
Yes, but they're also releasing them next summer. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're going to be like, this is in chronological order in here, but when you get to the actual collection, it's going to be in chronological order with the other comics that are around it in that time period.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the Epic collection does.
Right.
It's hang on, I'll just look it up because I was looking at it the other day, wasn't I?
Yeah, we were chatting with each other and you were looking at it.
Yeah. Yes. Empire Volume 7. It's released July 12th next year.
Okay.
It has Blood Ties, A Tale of Boba and Jango.
Okay.
Blood Ties, Boba Fett is dead. And then there's 4 Empire comics, and then Underworld, the Yavin Basilica or something. So that's what's in the next Empire volume. So yeah, the Blood Ties comics are in there.
Yeah. And then Abuna says, shake my head, a damn shame. But we all know that Luke Skywalker mattered. Yeah, so let's start sharing hashtag Luke Skywalker matters on Twitter. Let's go ahead and do that. Share that here, Luke Skywalker matters. Because he does. He was set up to be what his father was supposed to be, right? And that he and the Skywalker of this coming not our generation, but their generation in the lore.
And the point of Luke in Anakin's story, because George always said the 6 movies are Anakin's story. Luke was the catalyst that redeemed him. But according to the sequel trilogy, Luke and Anakin achieved absolutely nothing except set Palpatine back a little bit. Right. So it's like, let's make a prophecy about a guy who will, set the Sith back for 5 minutes. Not that epic, is it?
Yeah, you have a point. And then so this is to you, Stig. Stig, I'm selling my house if you want to move out here.
No.
He's like, no. He's like, you Americans are batshit crazy. No.
Yeah. I'm not moving to the US because it's a batshit crazy place. I'm on an island in the Atlantic. Snowed in at the moment, but yes.
Yeah. And then Abuna says, haha, that's a great idea. Yes. And so share hashtag Luke Skywalker matters. Or actually not mattered, matters. Like now, he matters now as well. Yeah. And then gonna get it started. Luke Skywalker matters. There you go. All right, you guys. So let's start going on to this next comic because I do have an appointment I have to get ready to after 11. And my appointment's at 11:30. So here we go. So this is part 2 of my brother, my enemy part. This is part 2 here. And excuse me. And so this is I like how this darkness, this depth here, we have a glimpse of what's going to happen in this comic right here. I'm not going to give any spoilers just yet, or not going to give any spoilers. We're just going to read up towards it. And let's see here. And then, so Matt Wilkins, before I go to the other screen here, what if the house comes with Twi'lek slaves?
They can be shipped in a box to Norway.
Just they're put them in a box and ship them.
They're very flexible and bendy. You can put at least 2 of them in a regular box.
In a regular box? What is this regular box? What's the size of this regular box, Stig?
I don't know.
Yeah. And then Soul Assassin, Kate Skywalker matters. Well, he does too. He's a great. I can't wait till we get to Legacy. Like I don't really want to jump around too much, but that would be fun to get into Legacy and go over that. Let's see here. And so here we go. So let's go ahead and begin this one here. So here we go. We are now back at the Rebel fleet here. Aboard the frigate amidst the Rebel fleet. Hands up, who doesn't like me? And so we have Dina right here. That's her name, right? Dina?
Yeah. Dina Shawn.
Right.
Wondering if she was supposed to be a descendant of Bastila Shawn, but they never got that far because Disney bought Star Wars.
Right.
So we could have had a Bastila Shawn descendant in the rebellion, which would have been cool.
Yeah. And, I think we did see a few, like another generation of Shawns come out like prior to this as well. So that's
there's in Legacy. There's a descendant of Mission from the KOTOR game, Mission Badeaux.
Okay, that's right.
Twi'lek, because there's a missionary Badeaux in the Legacy comics, and I think isn't one of the Jedi her brother. His name is Badeaux. So descendant from Mission.
Yeah.
Look, continuity.
Right. Continuity matters. Well, it did. And that's why we're here, to preserve that and share what is at the heart of Star Wars, the classical canon Star Wars here. All right. So let's go on here. So we have Dina here. And so she is like in a crazy state of mind. And if you look at the clips here of the comic, you probably figure out why she is in the state of mind she is. So I'm going to go ahead and begin this. All right. It's the story of my life. I finally meet the man of my dreams. And who does he turn out to be? An Imperial officer. And how do I endear myself to to my Captain Rocher? Lure his men into a trap where they're all killed and lead him to swear eternal vengeance upon me. Oh yeah, I really know how to treat a guy. So she's over there.
She's raving and drinking.
Right. I know. I was going to just say that once I got to that picture, but yeah. So you can see her holding the flask in her hand. Always,
she's being a drunken twat.
Yeah, there you go. Drunken twat. I was being more nice here, and he's like, she's just being a drunken twat. But that's okay. And this is Star Wars. Look at, they're showing like the humanness of these characters in a galaxy far, far away, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to see this kind of thing in Disney Star Wars. You're not. Honestly, you're not.
No, you're probably not even going to see anyone drinking.
Right. You're not going to see.
That'll make the kids drink alcohol, apparently.
Yeah, you're not going to see the Corellian wet whiskey or brandy or something like that. That is so raved by everybody. You're not going to probably see that or anything like that. And that was a big thing with the X-Wings series and the X-Wing pilots and how close they are is like they loved getting together and drinking with each other. There's even books where they all celebrated together with Lando and stuff and got drunk and stuff, which is fun. It's fun to read.
Those pronoun peoples, people, they should be prospecting for gold, really, because there's gold in them their hills.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Stig. Oh God. Okay, let's go on. Always in the wrong place at the wrong time, Dina. That's what Dad used to say. Yep, a great motivator was old Dad. But you want to know the most insightful, vital, amazing thing anyone's ever told me ever? They said, no, it's gone, empty, and I definitely need another drink. Yeah, so she's kind of wasted here, and she's just like, oh, poor pity me. So she's like doing a drunk pity right now, pity drunk.
Yep.
Right? She's feeling sorry for herself. Because if you, like I said, if you were with me last time we reviewed these comics like 2 weeks ago and stuff, in her story and stuff, she did get in a relationship with Rashir, and it ended up turning, she ended up saying some information that shouldn't have, but he still went, and they still went into the ambush and stuff, and he blames her and blah, 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 blah. So we're seeing all this going down right here. And then so she goes, don't suppose anyone's going to on a supply run. And and he's like, yes. And so they're mocking her in the background right there, so they're teasing, they're mocking her because she's over there being a loud drunk, pity drunk, and then so now we're switching pictures here, and look how beautiful that is. So we have, it looks like in the outer area of the galaxy or whatever, the outer rim probably. And so we have this going on. It was a total surprise. Guess they didn't see us coming at all. Luke? So there we go. So they're making a run here. They're making a run against these cargo ships here. And then so we go on. Just like the intel said, the freighters cover minimal, just those two ties left, and they're running. I'll take the one breaking right. Think you can nail the other? And he goes, I will see what I can do, Wedge. And then so he goes on, and basically he gets trouble here. This should be over in a second. Over any second now. And then he's like, what? R2, what happened? Everything's gone dead. And then so R2's like, whoop, talking to, Luke, and he's like trying to fix things, And that's a thing there, when you have to pilot a friggin' X-Wing, you need your droid in there. You need your astromech, which, again, we could sit here and point out all the continuity errors in Disney Star Wars, right? Just like with Rey leaving in an X-Wing without an astromech. So, yeah. And then so basically he says the blasters, the engines, the navigation, computers, there's no power. And then so Wedge is, Luke, that tie's coming around on you. So now Luke is in a dire situation because his X-Wing is failing on him, and you'll see why.
His, is that his pronouns?
He? What?
No, nothing.
Oh, because what I said?
Yeah.
Oh.
You said his. This is a progressive channel.
Yes, I'm a Native American. I'm very progressive, No, but anyways, that wasn't what I was going at. So, but thank you very much. I see him, R2. And then Wedge says, I'm tied up with the other one. I'm not going to make it to you in time. So now Luke is right there. He's basically derelict right there. His ship gave out on him, and they're, still in combat with these ties. And then so R2 responds to him, and then he says, I know the ship's falling apart. All our ships are falling apart. That's what this raid's about. Remember, get new supplies, replacement parts. And then he's like, R2. And then this little memory box or whatever it is. So this is the end. I should be thinking of so many things. Ben, Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, Leia. But to my surprise, one image sticks in my mind. So he's thinking 2, you know, so his little thought bubbles, and he goes home. So there you go. You have Tatooine background there. And then all of a sudden he's like, Wedge. And then we see, you know, the ship explode here. You said you couldn't get to me in time. And then Wedge says, what can I say? When you're good, you're good. And we know Wedge, for not being a force sensitive pilot, that he can hold his own with like Luke and everybody. Because he is that good.
Oh, Wedge is, in my opinion, a better pilot than Luke. Because Luke relies on the Force, while with Wedge, it's all skills.
Yeah.
That's and you know you'll find thousands of people disagreeing with me on that. Some will say Han Solo, and they're probably right too. But as a fighter pilot, I would say Wedge is top dog.
Yeah, and I think I kind of like surprise everybody with like who I thought was the best pilot, Corellian pilot. And everybody automatically, like the majority, a lot of people, because Han was basically, we knew him more better than Wedge when it came to the movies, right? I don't think we really knew he was Corellian either in the movies, right? So, you know, I was like answering that question. I'm like, I think Wedge is better. And people are like, what? Not Han? I'm like, no, not Han. I think Wedge is better. You know, so I surprised everybody with my thought about that I think Wedge is a better pilot than Han. I do. You know, but that's just me.
Yeah. I think if it had been like a dogfight, I think Wedge would win. But in general, piloting, maneuvering, basically pilot cunning and all that, I think Han would win.
Yeah.
But as I guess like a Wedge is a better combat pilot, but Han is the better overall pilot. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like going through people's comments real quick here, and we'll get on with the comic here. And so Wedge comes in the nick of time. Again, like I said, I prefer him over Han when it comes, you know, to pilot being, you know, my favorite pilot. And so we'll go on from here. That takes care of the fighters escort. Let's hope the new limpet, there we go, ship do what they're meant to do. So basically they are making a raid for supplies, a raid run for supplies, right? Because we all know that the rebellion, they rely on raids for their you know, for their ships, for everything that they need, supplies, all of that. And some planets do offer supplies, like, you know, under the table, I guess you can say, because if they get noticed by the Empire, that could be the end of them, right? So everything has to be done raid or under the table for them to have proper ships, supplies, all of that. We know that, and that's been established already. And we've already seen it a couple of times in these comics. You know, and we've seen it when Han and Luke and them meet Dina, because there's a supply run for ammunition, basically, during that time. So
Dina is actually a hell of a character. She's flawed and annoying to begin with, but she has an arc, and it's well done.
Yeah, and we're not even finishing it yet, right?
No, it's going to happen in a while.
Yeah.
She does something really cool.
Right.
After having almost given up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and then, so this goes back to your theory of like, maybe she's a Shan, you know, because she's getting so much time here. You know, maybe maybe that's a hint to it. We will never know. Obviously, we'll never know unless someone comes clean and says, yeah, we're linking her to the family. You know, so, you know, when you see someone like this back character get so much time in these comics and stuff, it makes you really wonder, you know, like, okay, well, is she really supposed to be of that family? You know, so we can ponder and discuss it and have fun discussing it and discussing her. And maybe we will after we get finished with her arc in these comics, because that'd be a fun discussion right there. Because it's always, and the thing is, before I move on, is that a lot of these characters who are like secondary or back characters or stuff like that, provide a lot of depth for the storylines. They weren't just there to take up room, you know? And even if we've seen them only in the movies, you know, like as back character, like saying a couple of lines, when you really get into the meat and potatoes of these characters in the EU, they offer a lot of depth for these characters and these stories, you know, the main characters and the stories. And I think it's phenomenal how they done that to create such a vast story in Star Wars, you know, stretching 25,000 plus years of history. So it's amazing. All right. So let's go on here. We've not much time before the cargo ships jump into hyperspace. And then, so they're talking, these are the frigates that they're raiding. Jump, you idiot. They're all over us. Jump to hyperspace. And he's like, I'm trying. We didn't expect this. It takes time to calibrate the nav. Oh my God. So there we go again. So there's another bit of continuity here when it comes to hyperspace.
Yeah, it's not instant, is it?
No, it's not. Especially when you're operating such a big ship as well. You need to get the proper coordinates because it could be deadly if you don't.
Yeah, if you travel too close to a planet, you'll get pulled out of hyperspace. You know.
Right, or you can even just be destroyed.
Yeah, you can. Gravity can tear your ship apart.
Exactly. And then so he goes, did something just attach to the hull? So there we go. And so there we go. They're making their way in for their raid here. So here we go. And I wasn't sure. I don't think this is a lightsaber here. I don't think this is Luke's lightsaber here because you usually see like the end of the lightsaber patching through here. So they basically bust through here, and then he said, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Stop. What's your, you know, so they're jumping through here. And yeah, I think something just did. So I missed that one. So basically they're talking about the whole scenario here. They cut through, they have their little I forgot what that little port thing is between the ships or whatever, but you know, so they're connected to the hull. They're coming through. Hands in the air, all of you. The ship and its contents now belong to the Rebel Alliance. So they're making the raid. They made their way in. Able here, Luke. Mission accomplished. The first cargo ship is secure. And then he goes on to say, looks like the other three are ours too. And nice work, guys. So they're talking to, you know, Luke on the comm and stuff like that. And these are the guys that were at the base when we were reviewing the other comics that helped set the Jabim slaves free and all that. So these are some of the same crew here. And then 4 Imperial ships filled to the brim with food, arms, equipment. The fleet really needed this. So again, like I said, you know, they get their supplies by raids or basically under the table from other planets that support. And actually where they were supposed to be, our spy came through again. So, you know, they're talking amongst each other when they're doing the raid here over comm. So I'll just sit tight until you send the ship to pick me up. Then, right, guys? And he's like, hello, you know, so they grab the ships and stuff, and Luke is still stuck. His ship is still derelict there. He's still stuck there. So a little bit of humor there, I guess you can say.
Yeah. And also, the main character is being poked fun at a bit. You know,
right.
Luke got into some stupid situations too. Did that ever happen to any of the? Did that happen to Ahsoka or Rey or whatever? No, because you're not allowed to make any kind of fun of the strong women characters.
Right, exactly. And so now we are going to the scenario here, and this is the per Lupilo system. So if I said that wrong, sometimes Star Wars verbiage and their names could be different than what you're saying they are until you hear them pronounce it inaudible. So
this was actually something that was done very well in the Jedi Knight games, Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Academy. because you get to go to a lot of planets.
Disney Star Wars has not even accomplished that yet. Go ahead, go on.
Yeah, they only go to Tatooine in those, but you got the pronunciations because the games were voiced.
Yeah.
So I think in Jedi Academy you go to 13 different planets.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, it is. I've beaten that game probably 20 times, and it's still good because you can play it differently based on the force skills you level up, and the lightsaber styles you can pick. You can actually pick fighting styles and what kind of lightsaber you want. You can have a Darth Maul one. You can have one in each hand.
Yeah.
And a regular one. So 3 ways to play it right there, right?
Right.
And all of them have different moves.
Wow. Amazing. All right, so let's go on here. So they're at the Lapilo system. Please, no more. I can't take any more. He goes, I'll talk. Just make the pain stop, please. Oh, merciful raise. I beg you. And then so I guess this is Raz right here. And he's holding like a crystal pendulum in his hand or on his finger here. That's what he'll say when I get his hands or my hands on him. Oh, that sounds funny. That miserable snitch who tipped off the rebellion about that juicy Imperial cargo convoy. So I think that they were supposed to get that convoy, I guess. We'll find out. I mean, how's an honest gangster supposed to make a living in this day and age when they can't even trust your closest lieutenants, when you know that you have a spy in your midst? So he's over there. He's upset that the rebellions took those cargo ships. And from my take from this, that they were supposed to take them or have them or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah. So,
also, look, diversity again.
Right. There you go. And he goes, I mean, that sort of betrayal, it's actually very depressing. Trust, loyalty, friendship, these things are all that matters to me. I mean, so he's over there. He's pissed off. He looks like a crime lord, like a smuggler crime lord kind of person. And then so when I flipped this page, I'm like, he is some weird kind of insectoid kind of.
Yeah, it's like a
cyborg kind of thing.
A biomechanoid.
Yeah. I didn't really research him very much, and I was like, "This is okay." Is this where they try to get the Maul idea from, or I think these were done before Maul was or after?
No, the Maul's legs came from one of the non-canon stories. So it's like a what-if story.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing around about that.
Yeah, and then Filoni claimed he came up with it.
Right.
Katie Lucas, as we've seen in the clip, calls him out on it and says, "No, you didn't come up with it. You got it from the EU." And Filoni squirmed. Yeah,
he did. You kind of see him kind of sit, like you see him literally squirm in that, and then he tries to walk back what he said a little bit. He's like, yeah, that's what, whatever. But anyways, let's go on. It's not as though material things bring me joy, as you all know. So here we go. But we deal in information, do we not? My army of spies spread throughout the galaxy filter their intel back here, where you all sort it through it. Oh, I can't even talk right there. When we take advantage and profit from the information, that's correct, isn't it? Dryball, is that his name? Dryball. And then he's like, yes, Raise or Raz. Is it Raise or Raz? Raise?
I can't see how it's spelled.
Raze.
Raise.
Okay. For instance, my people were going to hijack that Imperial cargo convoy, allowing me to sell the content. See, so he's pissed off. The rebels overstepped their boundaries, and this crime lord's not taking it, right? But someone tipped off the rebellion. So what does that mean? No profit. So here we go. But you know what confuses me, and I'm intelligent even for a species that sorts data at an almost superhuman rate. What confuses me is that you've all been in my service for 5 years at least. So who here is supplying information to the rebellion? This person would have to have given over his entire life to playing a role. And then he goes on to say, everything about him would be a lie. He, by his very nature, would be nothing but a lie. I ask you, how much must you hate yourself to be willing to live like that? And so we have this guy here. He looks conflicted. So, I wonder. And then he goes all, Wild Tarson. Is that guy's name? Wild Tarson. And he's like, yes, Raise or Raz. See, I don't know. I want to say Raise. What can I do for you? You owe me an apology. And he says, and why is that? Because you've just missed a tasty message being sent out from within the Empire. Yes, definite Imperial frequency.
You know what it looks like?
What?
It looks like a boss fight from a video game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually when you fight a boss in an action game, you know, that like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something abnormal, and you have to destroy all those round things before it can do damage to him or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to hit those critical areas before he dies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He literally looks like a boss fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. And then he goes on to say, this could be very interesting. Someone's trying to contact Luke Skywalker. Dun, dun, dun. And now we get back to the fleet here. And this is the medic freight here, the medic ship here. You did well, like the equipment you brought in. Luke, sorry, I need my glasses on. You did well, Luke. I'm like, that sounds weird. The equipment you brought in, it's much needed. You're telling me it's not easy taking on ties without any power. How are we supposed to fight the Empire with ships that are falling apart? So he's saying that to Leia. And she goes, small victories, Luke, small victories. And so they're looking up at, and that's Jorin Sol there. We rescued Jorin Sol from the Empire, remember? When you think of what he could have told them, our coordinates, our hyperspace protocols, it could have ended the rebellion and cost a good man his life. So they don't think right now, or they don't suspect that he gave information right now. So, and he is still unconscious, your highness, but he should be well enough to return to duty in a few days. And she's like, thank you. You see, Luke, we are making a difference. You know, and then he goes, yeah. And then he says to himself, I know, Leia, I remember finding out that one of my oldest friends is fighting for the Empire. And I remember almost killing him. Since it happened, I've been having the same dream over and over. Our ship pulls away. Tank and I look down at you and your injured body, and I swear I see the strangest thing. Okay, so when we get further into the comics, you'll see that he had a vision, somewhat of a vision. And then so we get to his scenes right here of him on Tatooine. He's looking at the binary sunset, and he steps forward, or he steps and he starts sinking in the sand. And of course, you know, we see the fire from the blaster bolt that hit Tank's shoulder and stuff. So we're seeing like a bit of Luke's nightmare here. You know, he's conflicted. He wants to take the blaster away from him, or like he's shooting him and all this other stuff. So he has this like dream scenario going on here. And then someone says, Luke, or Leia says, Luke, what's wrong? You haven't been the same since you returned from Callisto. Was that 4 or is that 6? I get the Roman numerals, blah, are kind of difficult for me because I haven't really fully studied them. So we'll just say Callist. Does it have anything to do with that Imperial officer? Did you know him? And so she questions him. Luke, you can talk to me. You know, if something is troubling you, whatever it is, I'll understand. We're really not that different, you and I. All right. So she says that to Luke. And that kind of like is in reflection of who they are together, even though they don't know that they're related right now. And then he goes on to say, not that different? Leia, how can you say that? Your whole life, all you've known is palaces and princes, riches and education. You've had everything you could ever want. And me, you have no idea about me, about who I am or where I come from. I'm from. We're nothing alike, Leia. And then so she's right there and she's like, that kind of like hit her personally. She sinks in and she's contemplating. And then Jorin Sol's in the background here. And then he wakes up. And then so we go on here. And so we get back to Dina. And boy,
we have a side boob. You need to zoom in on the side boob for Soul Assassin in the chat. He just sent me a message on Twitter.
Oh, did he?
Zoom in. Yeah, immediately.
Immediately.
Look at that. You'll never see that in Disney Star Wars. This is the last time you'll see this.
Unless you have the comic and then you can, zoom through it all you want.
Yep.
There you go. So side boob for the guys in the chat. Yeah. Side boob for the guys.
And before the feminists lose their minds, you had an almost naked tank in the previous comic.
Mm-hmm. And he says, and he's happy. Look at that. He's like, yeah.
Yes. On this channel, we always try to make the viewers happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to finish up this comic here pretty quick here. So
which would make it a happy ending.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm not going to read through all of this here, but basically she sees Luke and she's like, she's self-loathing here. She's drunk. She's feeling promiscuous. And Luke is like in his own self-loathing as well. And so she finds that attractive and she's like, oh, well, we're in the same state of mind. Let's go ahead and have fun together. Let's drink and loathe and be sad together. And he basically says, he's like, I was looking for you. Actually, we need someone to keep an eye on Jorin Sol to make sure he's okay. Princess Leia suggested that you for the job. So basically, he's like, I'm not going to do this with you. You are drunk. Why don't you go and sit in and keep an eye on Jorin Sol since you ain't doing anything? And she basically is like, she's like, well, I guess he's the perfect man because he won't talk back. And he may actually listen to me what I have to say, so, she's like in that drunken state of self-loathing mind still. So, and then Wedge says, very smooth work there. And he's like, Wedge, I have orders to get you, you're wanted at the bridge. And so they go to the bridge and there's a message sent out to Luke.
I don't like that alien. He looks stupid.
I don't like him either. And I have something with like circles being cluttered together and stuff like that. It just bothers me. And I forgot what that phobia is. It's just disturbing. Yeah. So there's this alien with all this mechanics up on him. And I think they attach it to them and then it takes it off him because there are scenes with him not being attached to that stuff.
Yeah. Also, Snail Messiah is in the chat. He is from Denmark. So he's a Scandinavian like me, and he's not a damn Swede.
There we go. I love that my chat is so diverse. There we go. And my channel is so diverse.
And I also love that there's no Swedes in it.
We've had a couple come through, or at least one come through, and I know you've had your banter with them and stuff or whatever. But anyways, let's go on. So basically, they get the message that Tank is sent a message saying, come get me at this location. I was rethinking my life, basically, and you're right. I'm on the wrong side. I want to join you guys, and blah, 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 blah. And, so Luke is like pumped about this because like, yeah, my friend is finally coming to his senses. We should go get him. And so this guy here, and I forget his name and I didn't write it down, but the guy connected to all these crazy wires was like, wait a minute. Are you sure? Maybe this is a trap kind of deal. So we're getting to that little point right there. And so then we have Dina going to sit with and keep an eye on Jorin Sol. And she walks in and it's all dark in there. You know, it's like the lights are out and she's like, whoa, okay, well, it's dark in here, blah, blah, blah. And she's like having pity for all these people that are, you know, seeking healing from the Bacta tanks and stuff like that.
It looks like all the babes got injured.
Yeah, all the babes got injured, huh? Look at that. You know, we have a little bit of boobage right here too for you guys. Look at that.
Yep.
And right here as well. So she's, you know, healing here. And then she notices that there's glass broken and that she's walking in liquid. So that's the Bacta. And lo and behold, behind her, look at that. So, and she has no idea.
It's like, you know what? Huh? If he's in his underwear and has been in the Bacta tank, why the hell is he wearing a belt?
I don't know.
It's like no pants. You know, this is, you know, American wrestling.
Uh-huh.
It's a bunch of guys with no pants on fighting to win a belt.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that stupid?
That's just their trophy. It's a belt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so, but she has a belt on in here too. So who knows? Maybe that's how to help the equipment. I don't know. Anyways, so then she's like, oh no, what happened here? You know, and then all of a sudden, okay, Dina, she says to herself, go hit the alarm, warn people that something's wrong. You can do it right. Right? And then prove dad wrong. So she's got daddy issues here too. Show that you're not always a screw up. I mean, I can't always be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And look at what we have here coming up from behind her. And then there's and she's like, can I? And then she gets, there's a blast, like there's an explosion in the background, I guess. And then she has the cord wrapped around her throat. And you could see in the reflection right here what's going on. And then
yeah, sometimes in Star Wars you have to choke a bitch.
And that's what's going on right there. So that's the end of this. So those who are following along, if you want to know what happens with her and what happens with this explosion and what the hell's going on, stay tuned for next Thursday.
Imagine being in the Bacta tank and seeing that.
Right? You're like, you can't do anything. You know, sometimes they do sedate them. Sometimes they do sedate them, depending on their how badly they're injured. So,
and he has ripped the head off the droid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe he used that wire.
Probably. Yeah. And he's like, boobage. There you go. Yeah, boobage there. So yeah, so if you guys want to let me see. Apple. I don't know what that means, you guys. But if you want to see what happens, stay tuned. Next Thursday, we will go through parts 3 and 4 of this comic series here and find out what the hell's going on. Like it's getting good, you guys. And I like how they left this on a cliffhanger here for us.
And Dina will be holding her breath until next week.
Yeah, she's going to be holding her breath until then. Yes. So we got to start closing here. And I want to thank Stig here for always being here as much as he can as my co-pilot for Coffee Chat. It's much appreciated. And for everybody in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us as well. And again, those who are members of the channel, if you attended today's live stream, your name will be put in for a chance to win a draw or a copy of Son of Kifu. Let me pull just the actual image. I'm not going to play the video. So of this right here. And the drawing will be in January, probably after New Year's holiday. So like maybe a week after the New Year's holiday. Maybe I'll have a special live stream, hopefully that, and just sit and chat with you guys, Star Wars in general, George Lucas era in general, and have the drawing as well. And so if you haven't had a chance to become a member of my channel, it's open. Membership's always open. And I greatly appreciate the support and any kind of support that you offer, whether you just come in to listen, to chat with us. And as a subscriber, or if you send a super chat, that's always welcome. I don't make a huge deal about super chats, but I am greatly appreciative of, of the donation that you do for the channel, including becoming a member. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. You are the reason why I have my channel, is to keep the heart of Star Wars in the front of everybody. And that's George Lucas era. And that's what we're going through right here. So Stig, where can we find you this coming week?
Snowed in. Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm home because I'm trapped by the snow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in my apartment and eat or something. I don't know. But tomorrow, I believe, Friday at 8 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take my word for that because I'm struggling with the time zones.
Yeah.
I will be on the Cringe Factor with Mara as usual, which is always fun. And on Saturday, I believe we're doing more Lord of the Rings talk on Teresa's channel, which is a lot of fun with Teresa and Rennie and Toriel and Lady Gravemaster. I think that's it. Unless I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I feel I'm missing something though. I don't know.
No, it's the last couple of weeks have been kind of a blur for me when it comes to keeping track of like who's going live with who and stuff. Usually I'm like, Stig's gonna be here and so is gonna be there and I'm gonna go support. And it just hasn't been that way for me.
I've lost track. So you know what? The next live stream you watch, I was just pretend I was supposed to be on that one and didn't show up.
Alrighty then. Okay. And so for me, I will be still producing, the lore short videos that I do, or the short videos. I have to continue on with Tatooine's lore history. So I think I will do part 2, I believe, or part 3. I have to go back and see which part that I'm on. But anyways, since we've seen some beautiful images of Tatooine and got a little bit of lore of Tatooine through Luke and his looking back at him growing up there, I need to go ahead and finish that mini series of Tatooine history. So stay tuned for that. Since I feel like my everything that was going on in my life has now been settled. And I can get back into producing some more lore videos. So stay tuned for that, as well as stay tuned for the schedule for this December. I know we're in December already. I have to make a point, schedule people in for Talking EU. So stay tuned for that, and I will announce that. And I am pushing back literature review a week due to the fact that, I did have a death in the family, and that kind of like halted everything for me. So stay tuned for the dates of that as well. And the book we are reading is The Seed from the Old Republic. So all you Old Republic fans, stay tuned for that. I know that there's a huge following for this time period because of the games and stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'll get with some of the people that want to be on the panel, and I will announce the date here pretty soon. We are communicating regarding that right now. Well, in the time being. Yeah. So thank you guys again for coming in, supporting the channel. Thank you for my mods. You guys are amazing. Always coming in and support as much as you can. Chat, thank you. Stig, thank you as well. And I will talk with you guys later, and have a good day.
Take care and be well.